Hey folks, it's Mikey from Rockin' K. If you don't know who we are, we're a couple of Americans transplanted to Germany doing the DIY homesteading and off-gridding thing. We are going to be all over the place in this installment. We're going to be in the heating room. We're going to be in the basement. We're all over. We got little nickel dime projects we got to get done. Got to do some cleanup work back there, and I got to do some lights down in the basement. So that's coming up. Okay, so here in the heating room, or the wood barn, we've got the mixing wall. We have to do some insulating, some clamping here across. And then when they installed the new wood stove, they temp stabbed the chimney. Well, didn't temp stab it, but they installed the chimney. But it's two separate sections that are kind of wobbly, kind of meh. So with that, I'm going to replace the this piece of stovepipe right here, because as you can see, it is two pieces. From here down is one piece, from here up is another. And I went ahead and bought a straight pipe to replace that. The only downfall in all of this is in the spring, it's going to get replaced again. But we got to get through the winter and we want to be safe. So in the spring, we're putting a chimney fan, and it's not going to blow heat into the room, but what it's going to do is it's going to blow the smoke up the chimney so that when you open the door on the wood boiler, that it doesn't roll out the door. Like you can see, there's a little bit of smoke staining right on the front. That fan will stop it from having smoke come out when you're loading the stove. It'll also help in getting the fire going because it'll create an additional draft and get that fire rolling a little faster. Not sure if I'm going to use it full time, like I'm saying, to get that added draft, because the wood stove does run really well. But we're going to plan on making an apartment above, and if we do that, we can't have the smoke rolling out. So that's a later project, but that's just some insight as to what we're going to have going on. But today, we're going to get these pipes clamped on the wall. I have to make a block out of the cement board to go behind these. And then we'll get some insulation going. And the chimney is going to be the first thing I'm going to knock out. So I got to take that chimney out, measure it up, cut it, and put the new pipe in. So let's get to it. This is going to be a messy job. Let's see what we got going on here. I didn't do the install, so I wasn't here for it. So we got some screws. Let's see if we can't get them out. But I think we're just going to pop this whole elbow out first. So always err to the long side. I cut it about the same length as the last one, but it fits a little different, I guess. So the measurements are telling me to take 3 off, so we're going to take 3 off. I don't know why it would be that different, but I measured it to yeah, we'll do it. We'll do what it says. Okay, so we got the chimney done. All nice one piece now, real solid. Don't have to worry about that going anywhere. Got the screws in it, everything like that. Shame we'll have to redo it in the spring, but it is what it is. I can't afford to put the fan in right now because I can't have the stove down that long. We are in the colder season, so as much as I would like to put that fan in at this time, I just don't think it's feasible because we have to take the system down for a little bit. Because there is going to be a little bit of fabricating and some welding and stuff like that that needs to be done on the pipes to make it work 100%. But it does look a lot better. It's all one piece. I am amazed at how clean the stove has been burning. So we've been burning the stove for a month and change. And that's how dirty the pipe actually got. So there's barely anything, just a little bit of powder on the inside. So definitely been burning clean. That's what I like to see. We do have the chimney man comes 2 times a year because that chimney is way too tall to mess with. They come with this deal on a spool and feed it up the door, and I'd rather let them mess with it. It costs me like, I don't know, 40 or 50 euro each time they come. Plus I get my stove certified by the same guys, so it is what it is. All right, now we got to move on to getting those pipes clamped so they so they're not moving on the wall, and then we'll go ahead and insulate all the down pipes. So you can see I throw a piece of insulation on it for right now. We'll go ahead and we'll get all 4 of the down pipes, and then any bits that I have left I'll start working towards the storage tank. I still have to do the permanent wiring on it because we did just do a temp install on the wiring, and that was because we needed to get the stove up and running because the house was cold. What I'm going to try to do with that is do a little bit at a time. So now is the time of day when we really don't need the stove because it's like around midday. So the fire from the morning is burned out and the fire from the evening is of course long gone. It gives me a little window of a couple of hours that I can go ahead and work on the stove. So today's work is going to be, of course, that chimney, and then the insulation and the clamping of the supply pipes. Well, I can do that while it's on. That one pipe gets pretty hot. It gets to like 55, almost 60 degrees Celsius, and that's a little hot. plus the feed pipes coming in the bottom of the mixers, those tend to run about almost 70 to 80 degrees Celsius. So at 80, we're starting to near some scalding temperatures. But let's get on to setting that up and getting the clamping done. Okay, we're partway there. So I made a block out of the cement board. As you can see, there's a block made out of a couple layers of the cement board. And the idea is to keep that'll give me the space behind the pipes. And you can see she's all plumb and level. So now we'll just take and mount these clamps directly to that board. And my screws will go all the way through and to the back and to the USB that's in the back. So let's zip that together. All right, so we got the clamps done, and that first piece of insulation, it was already on there. I just slid it down when I did the clamping. So now we'll get the rest of that insulation on, and then we got to move to the basement. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for in here, because now I got to move to the basement and start on Mama stuff. And like you can see my breath. It's a little cold here in the wood barn, so I do have to get a fire started. But let's turn you around. So now all the pipes are mounted firm, and then we have insulation to where they convert to the PEX line, and then of course over to the valves on the floor manifolds. So to head off any questions as to why this isn't insulated, my thoughts are, when I box this room in, because there will be a wall right here, a cement block wall, and this room will be boxed in. So with the room boxed in, this will act like a radiator to put a little bit of heat in here. The stovepipe should put a little bit of heat and everything like that. And so the ultimate plan is to be able to keep this room a little bit warmer, because it's cold in the winter in here. And as you can see, it's not even winter yet, and you can see your breath in here. So with that said, I would like to try to keep the room a little warm, because I do have a freshwater feed that comes into this room, and we don't want that to freeze. It hasn't frozen yet. We've been operating the on-wood for 3 or 4 years, and luckily it hasn't frozen yet, but we don't want to tempt fate, because I'm not that lucky. So we'll get it all boxed in. We'll make the walls, we'll make a ceiling in here. I am debating on putting a vent fan out to vent smoke if we end up with smoke in here, because if there is an apartment up top, the last thing you want is smoke going up into the apartment. It causes panic and stuff like that. So if we can pop a vent in that outside wall to turn on whenever I turn the lights on in here, and what I'll do is I'll have it on a delay so that when you turn the lights off, the fan will run for an additional 15 minutes or so to make sure that there's no smoke coming out of the room. But like I said, we're going to wrap it up in here, and we're going to head to the basement to start on Mama's winter garden stuff. So let's move over there. Okay, so now we're down in the basement in the dungeon. And this isn't the room that we freed up with the heating stuff, but it is one of the rooms that we planned on using for other things, but it's going to work out that it's going to be a winter garden this year, and then next year the winter garden will be next door in the actual heating room. So from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, we're looking at putting some lighting in on the ceiling here, and you can see the ceiling, it's, I don't know, if I just shoot probably 6'5", 6'6", ceiling wise,
Yeah.
So she wants...
I'm gonna put 2 grow lights here. There'll be 2 grow lights here.
So we're gonna hang grow lights over this. Let me flip you around. It's a little easier. And we'll zoom you out. So she wants to put 2 grow lights on above this table because this table is gonna be where she's gonna do her first bit of winter gardening. But as you can see, it's a rather large room.
And very dark.
And very dark. So, like she was saying, she wants fluorescent fixtures. So I have, or not fluorescent, but LED, but they're the fluorescent style LEDs, the long tube lights. So we can put 3 tube lights up. I don't know if she wants them this way or if she wants them this way. She says it doesn't matter. But we'll add lighting. And then right here, this goes out to my solar inverter. So these 2 lines are incoming electricity. Well, they're not hooked up yet, of course, because I'm touching them. But those 2 lines are incoming electricity from the inverter. Then we have the outgoing, which you can see right here because it is a hybrid inverter. There is an outgoing line that goes and feeds the inverter, but then these come back. So right now we're in bypass mode, meaning the electricity goes out on these lines and then it feeds whatever. When we're actually up and running, the electricity will be fed by these 2 lines. So we're going to put a ring of outlets around the wall as well. We're going to get rid of this outlet. This outlet, turns out, is one of the runs from that mess of wires that we found when we were digging in for the bathroom renovation. So that outlet will go, and what we'll do is we'll supply everything from the solar inverter. It'll let us keep track of how much power we're actually throwing down, and it'll let us supply the grow lights and everything from the inverter. The inverter puts out 3.5 kilowatts, so 3,500 watts, but at 220, mind you, because it is 220 here. So what we're going to be supporting on those is the heating system, which my best guess right now is about 100 watts. So we're going to cross off 100 watts for the heating system. Then I figure Mama's going to need probably around 500 watts total down here. So now we're at 600. Then we have the 350 to 400 for the warm pump, which is going to be on the other side of the wall where these pipes are. Then that's why we had to move all the heating system and everything. With that said, that's another 350 there, so we're at 950 watts. So we're nearing 50% of what our inverter can put out. We will have 4,000 watts worth of panels, so I'm not worried about running out of sun power, but what I'm worried about is running out of battery power. But that's not a big deal because it will switch over to battery when there's no sun, and then it will switch to electricity or shore power when there's not enough battery. So worst case scenarios, we burn a little bit of electricity that we have to pay for, but I'm trying not to. So we're trying to keep our loads low on the inverter, and so that we don't cycle the batteries really hard either, because I want those batteries to age out. I want it to be 12 years from now when the batteries are just too old to do their job, not cycle them so much that they fail. But I got my work cut out for me down here. It's going to be a lot of wiring coming from here and going around the room. We need to replace, check this out, folks, check this out. This is an old school rotary switch. It is Bakelite rotary switch from, I don't know, the 60s. So we're definitely replacing the switch.
I don't know, leave it, I like it.
But, Mom, she's back here saying she likes it, it's old.
It's part of the house.
So, let alone a fire hazard, but.
This used to be the kill room. He used to raise rabbits.
So, when we bought it, it was, let me cover up the names. So they used to raise rabbits in here. And what they did was they raised the rabbits here. And then further down, there is a room with hooks and a drain on the floor. So use your imagination, folks, and you know what that was for. So there's the hooks on the wall, extinguisher. The old heating room. There's that warm pump that we're moving. That warm pump's going to go back there where you can see Rachel's headed. So we have to move it from this room back there. It'll allow us to shorten the run for the water by a long bit. But I'm rambling on, and I really got to get this video edited and get it in the can because it is Saturday. I normally post on Friday. We have somewhere we have to be, and yeah, time is crunching. I got back from America this week, and it's been, full bore. I do have some footage from America. I'm going to insert that in the Coffee with the K's, which we should be putting out tomorrow on Sunday. I'm hoping to have this edited and out tonight, barring any complications, and there's been complications.
Yeah, computer.
So if this doesn't make it out on Saturday, I promise you I will push it out first, then we'll do the Coffee with the K's. But we got to get this video in the can, and we got to get we got some editing work to do. So we'll see you tomorrow for Coffee with the K's.
You can't just rewire it with iron.
And I almost forgot. In sticking with my motto, if you're thinking about family, if you're thinking about friends, give them a WhatsApp or a WhatsApp, whatever works for you. Tell them you're thinking about them. You know you'd love to hear from them. Give them a line. And until tomorrow, auf Wiedersehen.
Tschüss.